Hello everyone, welcome to the Muffs Archive. I'm Muffs and this is a peculiar video. Today I'm presenting to you a very quite popular theory within the Pokemon community with a goofy and low quality slideshow. Lysander is actually alive for Pokemon Legend ZA, and this video has kind of like a twist. I know this topic has been covered by many other people who are probably more qualified than I am when it comes to the Pokemon lore, or the XY Games' lore. But anyway, tomorrow is Pokemon Legend ZA's official release, so this video is coming out 24 hours before the final game's release. Don't forget to subscribe, support the channel if you like this video, or if you just want to see more Pokemon and art content mixed up, because that's something I've been doing and I think I want to push forward with this channel. So without further ado, let's talk about Lysander and Legend ZA. Also, I'm very proud of the thumbnail for this video and the fan art I did, but I'll talk about that later on. A little disclaimer though, I do not recommend this video to anyone who is not already familiar with the Pokemon universe and the XY games. I will not explain anything from scratch. I'm just going on with what I think most people that play the XY games should have in mind now going into Pokemon Legends ZA. Thank you, and let's actually begin. During the X and Y games released in 2013, as we go through the main story, we're met with an organization that goes by the name Team Flare. Their leader is Lysander, and his goal is to use the ultimate weapon, powered by either Xerneas or Yveltal, depending on what version of the game you're playing, to physically destroy the world and rebuild it in order to create the perfect and beautiful vision he has for society and the ecosystem of the Pokemon world in general. Let's say that Lysander's worldview is not only flawed, but also dumb. His decision to try to use the ultimate weapon was a bit dumb. And so that we're all on the same page, on the right side of your screen you have a low quality PNG of Lysander and Team Flare, some of the main grunts of Team Flare, and then on the left side of your screen you have the ultimate weapon. When it's used before, something happens, but anyway. The ultimate weapon was used in what we know as a war that happened in Kalos thousands of years ago. And then what? Well, towards the end of the game, when we have our final fight Pokemon battle against Lysander, he fails to use the ultimate weapon in the way he intended, and basically, we put a stop to Team Flare's wrongdoings once and for all, leading to the collapse of Team Flare's hideout and Lysander being crushed by its remains. It is implied that Lysander died right then and there. But why do I think that Lysander is still alive? And just to be absolutely clear, I'm only taking into consideration the X and Y games, because in the anime, Lysander actually gets blasted by Zygarde, and in the manga, one of the last panels of Team Flare's, defeat shows not only Lysander covered in blood, but also his secretary. Yeah, it's kind of disturbing, honestly, but what happened in the games was none of this. Well, now let's take a look at AZ. What does AZ have to do with Lysander, you ask? Well, first of all, it is mentioned that Lysander is a descendant of AZ's brother in the games. We never met AZ's brother, but we know that Lysander is one of his descendants. And AZ did have access to the ultimate weapon. He created the ultimate weapon and used it for the first time, if that's how I could put it. And it is also said that AZ and his partner Floette probably became mortal beings due to their initial use of the ultimate weapon. So what if Lysander, because of his regular contact with the ultimate weapon and eventual use, even though it wasn't a proper use of the ultimate weapon, made him become an immortal human just like AZ. And also with the release of Legend ZA, we saw in the trailers and the tiny amount of info that they showed us that Mabel, who was one of the Team Flare's most important female members, has now seemingly left behind her troublesome past as a Team Flare member and is now pursuing a professional career as a teacher and Pokemon researcher, probably replacing what Professor Sycamore was in the Pokemon XY games. And now we were introduced to Vinny. Introduced in quotation marks, actually, because we didn't see anything from him other than his design and him being the secretary of Quasartico Inc.'s CEO, Jet. As of the recording of this video, we do not have any other relevant information about him being released officially by the Pokemon Company. So why do I care about this character so much, even though the game is about to be released and we know nothing about how Legend ZA's story will actually go and progress? Well, first things first, let us take a look at his character design and how the shape language in his design is pretty similar to Lysandre's character design and how it was brought to life. And for all of this, we're using my fan art, the one I included in the thumbnail, to see these comparisons from up close. So not only is Vinny's beard and Lysandre's hair shaped in the same way, so curved upwards and segmented into these, I think I could say, different parts of sharp hair, mimicking almost like a lion mane or a mane in general. And Vinny also has a similar clothing style to what was expected not only from Lysandre, but also some of the other Team Flare members. I also think his jawline, nose shape, and the way his forehead kind of, how do I say this, emphasizes his stern facial expression is pretty similar to how Lysandre presented himself in the games. So it's almost as if Vinny is a more reserved and collected, calm, cool version of Lysandre's design with different colors, right? So what am I trying to imply with all of this? That Vinny is actually Lysandre, who became an immortal human, just like KZ, once the ultimate weapon collapsed along with Team Flare's hideout and is now using a different identity to live. But now, what if I'm wrong? What if I just said an outrageous statement? Well, it's okay, this is just a theory.
A game theory!
The game is coming out in a bit, I guess, and despite all of the controversial practices and decisions Nintendo and the Pokemon franchise have had in the last few years, I'll keep an open mind while playing this game, and see if this video ends up being one of my dumbest decisions to date, or if I'll end up being correct. Even if I end up being wrong, I'll do my best to come out with a review of Legend ZA and do my own critical appreciation of the game. I want to keep an open mind to what we will encounter in the games, and I am privileged enough to be in the position to buy the game for myself. Looking back at Legends Arceus, it's very possible that Vinny is actually just part of Lysandre's family, a descendant of Lysandre. Just like many other content creators and Pokemon fans have theorized, Lysandre could still be alive, but not in the exact same way I just mentioned. So instead of using a separate identity or covering up his own identity as Vinny all of these years after the X and Y events, maybe Lysandre is just hidden from society and covered up by Vinny's connections with Quasartico Inc. and the power and control they have over Lumio City. These two theories are pretty clever, and I honestly believe both can happen, and I'll be happy if both happen. Or maybe we are all just being very mean to Vinny and he will be a good person who is completely unrelated to Lysandre or any type of villainous conduct within Lumio City. Either way, I cannot wait to see what will come out of this game. I personally feel like we're about to get a game that is doing quite a few steps in the right direction for Nintendo and the Switch Pokemon games, now that we have the Switch 2 out and how negative the online discourse about it has been. I hope that somehow Legend ZA can at least change a bit of people's perspective or surprise us. I want to be surprised in a positive way, you get what I mean? And I'd like to believe that even though the graphics are not exactly up to some of the fans' expectations, and even though some people do not like the fact that we will be stuck within Lumio City, I hope that at least the performance issues that we had in previous Pokemon games are solved, and especially me personally, I love stories. When I game, I don't really care about if the art style is the best quality of graphics ever. I just want a good story and an engaging gameplay that goes along with the story, so I'm really hoping that the story of Legend ZA is good. and it just pays homage to everything that X and Y was to me as a kid. I played the X and Y games when I was 6 or 7. I don't remember. Right now I'm 19, and that was my first actual Pokemon game. So it's pretty emotional for me to see the Kalos region coming back. And as a huge fan of everything that has to do with the Kalos lore, I really hope that this game can surprise us and be good. But that's all. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please subscribe and look forward to my Legends Year review. I don't know when it'll be coming out, but I only plan on actually recording a Legends EA review once I finish playing the game. So, the main game and the post game. The DLC, I'll be very honest with all of you, I won't buy it soon. I'll probably buy it like next year, I guess. Anyway, thank you so much once again. I'll stop rambling on. Please discuss in the comments what you think about all of this. Please do not spoil the comments with leaks. I don't really appreciate that. And tomorrow we'll have the game. Anyway, bye!